Salutations everyone, Shannen the Misfit here, and today we are saddling up for a good old revisit. As the title implies, Revisit is a special type of review format dedicated to anime I've already done in the past, and have decided to take a second look for any changes in my mindset. Because everything changes. Your mind, your car, even the laundry you thought you left in the dryer last night. Today's Revisit is brought to you by my friend Steph, aka the head honcho of Dub Talk. Thanks for your suggestion. And all you and the crew has done for making me feel at home in the cold, cold state of Boston. But moving on, this revisit brings us back to a video I originally did in October of 2017, where I gave a generous Trebiot rating for its entertainment value. But let's see if that rating still holds up, as I return to that blood-spouting, people-hating classic properly found in Funimation's bargain bin, Shiki. Okay, so I summed up back in the day that Shiki's narrative was better on a macro level than the individual sum of its parts. While each major section, split between the adults, the kids, and the Shiki themselves, all had a role to bring out this interesting sense of community sensationalism, most were all horrible people in their own rights for me to care about their situation, or ideology, if the Shiki are concerned. So let's talk about them first. The Shiki mainly talking about this girl and this chick and this guy. Kinda not him, but we'll get to that. As I said in the first video, had okay potential going for them at first. Their ideology, not so much. I still think it's god-awfully preachy for a society that's trying to survive in the world. Now, I wouldn't be so complainy if these Japanese vampires were your run-of-the-mill scrape and lick. But because they were trying to tell a point with Shikidom, did it all fall through by the final episode. I mean, at least they had some sort of concrete plan. The end goal being to overturn the entire village into a Shiki safe haven free of stakes, fire, and all-around bandwagoning. Their best feature being the way the show made them become more indisputable to humans with each passing episode. That, I agree with my past self, was alright, even though the side Shiki were not all fun to watch. The poster child here was still a fun, empathetic mini-gang leader to root for. They were all still hypocrites, but fun hypocrites no less. Though one thing I never mentioned in the first video was just how dumb and risky their overturning plan was. I mean, to run it down for you, to become a Shiki, you need to be drained of your blood until you pass on, upon which there's a, let's say, 1 in 6 chance you'll actually rise up to become a Shiki. I later theorized that it was because that those who were brought back had some kind of lingering desire for the time they were alive, and that's why only the bitchiest people got to live. I don't know, I didn't have time or professionalism to research Shiki lore. I mean, who does that? But let's look at the problems then, shall we? For a group that loves to tag the line about the food chain and just doing enough to survive, you sure aren't doing any better than us common folk. You guys killed as much as we mortals litter on the side of the road, and they both have the same chance of being mildly caught by the police.
Ooh, sick burn.
I'm just saying, you guys were way too wasteful in your methods. Then again, your victims were a bunch of finger-pointing twats whose series creator really had a thing against small towns for some reason. In the Shiki's defense, even when they got the clever idea to outpopularize the local shrine with their own morgue services, did one thing come into my mind. How are you guys so dumb? A new morgue along with other businesses pop out of nowhere with ludicrous business hours, and none of you seem to question this. Seems legit. We should better use our time by mocking the trusted doctor who's been taking care of us for decades. He's clearly the crazy one, but we're all gonna bandwagon on this together because why? Because we're a small community, and small communities stick together. Segway! All the humans were either horrible train wrecks or dumb bandwagoners who just like getting the crowd on their side. And brah! I know that was the point when you made this show, but I disagree with my past self in saying, this community sucked. I wouldn't want to live here. The adults' main motif was, duh, let's hold off any type of real progress until it's way too late and mock any person with the foresight to see the truth. Except Miss Ronald McDonald over here. She's way too insane. One redeeming factor I found horribly funny was the 180 the adults got from episodes 1 to 22. Episode 1. Aww, look how caring we are as a small community. We look out for each other. We never leave anyone behind. 18 episodes later, if you have a different mindset, you're not worthy of us. God damn it, old man. God damn it, old man. God damn it, old man. See what I mean? None of the adults, no matter how important they were to the plot, had something that made me fully care for them. Dr. Ozaki went rogue a little too hard. The priest turned into the dark side at the quickest moment. Edgelord's parents were super hipsters that could never listen to reason with their stubbornness, and eventually becoming the creepiest nihilist I've seen in a while. As for everyone else, essentially the crowd was like that episode in Game of Thrones. You know the one. Shame! Shame! This is kind of fun. Shame! Okay, Shannen, but what about the kids? They must have been better than you remember. Nope! These guys were just as bad, if not more annoying. Megami's anti-small town banter was a waste of commentary for her more yonder-way quirks. The weird lips kid was a bipolar brat who felt like he had no purpose in the plot. These two kids... actually, they were still alright. Good job, you get a second pass. The purple-haired edgelord tried to be that Scooby-Doo leader, only to become more deadpan halfway through the show. His best friend was a complete ass, though. I totally missed and forgot about him the first time around. He just kept whining and whining about being forced to do these things to save his own potatoes, then goes to do those things anyway because I mean, this one scene shed to light an important question. Why didn't the Shiki just open a blood bank? Instead of outdoing the morgue, why not just make a second clinic with a morgue on the side? Not only could you still retrieve dead bodies safely, but you could get living volunteers to donate blood for everyone to drink, and no one would be the wiser. Oh, and don't give me the whole, well, the art of the hunt is much more satisfying to live, blah blah, no. You already said you give cups of blood to the Shiki who can't hunt for themselves. So if blood supply is the issue, why not fabricate a blood bank and skip all the headhunting to begin with? You could keep suspicion to a minimum and have a much better survival rate. And maybe kill off the weird hairdo hunter guy while you're at it. He's still the worst character in this show.
None shall pass.
What?
None shall pass.
I have no quarrel with you, good Sir Knight, but I must cross this bridge.
Then you shall die.
I command you, as King of the Britons, to stand aside.
I move for no man.
So be it.
Listen. I admit I did get a little off track, but to sum it up, the kids' narrative probably was the best one. Granted, they also had the least amount of screen time, so I stopped caring for their lives soon after. So, that just leaves my thoughts on presentation, and most of what I said before still holds up. Its grainy, bold outlining and Shiki eyes give character to what is already a cynical piece of media. The bloom sometimes gets overzealous in its use, but when done correctly, it gives off this unsettling vibe that's still hard to look away. I still think the color palette should have been a bit sharper though. The washed out aesthetic, in my opinion, doesn't help the drabble that the plot and characters already give off. I'm not asking for vibrancy here, but something to keep my eyes engaged would have been more nice. And finally, I recommend the dub because I found it more enjoyable when I could just hear everyone's hysteria than trying to split my focus to read the subtitles. It's not the best dub, but it's also not impossible to listen to, so you should have an okay time with that. Conclusively, when I gave the show a review the first time around, I said for a bargain bin relic, it was enough entertainment to warrant a kind of buy on top of the underlying joy of watching a bunch of assholes be assholes to each other. But I'm going to make a slight addendum and say that one shouldn't buy something simply because it's cheap. You should buy it if you can confidently get your money's worth, which I can't confidently say is going to happen with everyone for this title. So, after reconsideration and 24 more days of, God damn it, old man, I award Shiki with the updated recommendation to try it. Honestly, unless you're into the show's themes, or like collecting anime of the past, I don't think it's strong enough to go out of your way and buy. However, with this series now being out of print, this is the perfect time to hunt one down if you're looking to collect. Besides that, streaming is the preferred method this time around, so if you live in the US, UK, Canada, or Australia, then you can view the series on Crunchyroll and Funimation. For anime alternatives, Revisit Reviews will only recommend 2 at a time. The first one is going to be, well, okay, my yoga again. I don't know why I keep recommending this despite it being so bad, but you know what? It's the kind of bad that you just can't stop watching, and I guess that's all you need to stay memorable. And the second anime of choice will be Another. No, not another anime. The anime is actually called Another. For its small town mystery that goes from 0 to 100 in a slow burn type of method like Shiki. So I hope that whatever you decide to watch, it'll fill your needs. Well, there was certainly a hoot! Hopefully you guys will find this solution of putting out reviews I've already done in other places. These won't be a big priority thing, but eventually I want to get all of my past reviews to be reborn in this format. And you can show your appreciation by giving this video a like, subscribing to the Anime Misfit today if you're new, check me out on all my social media, and consider supporting me on Patreon to help make my dreams of doing this full-time a reality. Here's to many more videos to come and more all-nighters I'll be doing this summer with only a cup of coffee as my sane friend of choice. Shannen out!